Good. So today we're talking about what does it mean to be a team player, and I think last week Crystal spoke about why is teamwork important, and before that is Mark spoke about is it biblical, and it is so biblical. I think when you read the whole Bible, you see teams. It's just operating all the time, and I I can take no credit for this teaching today. I've been reading a few books by John Maxwell, who is quite a good teacher in leadership and teamwork and those kind of things. And I realize while I'm reading this, wow, I've got a lot to learn, and I realize as leaders, we should always be learning and growing. Um, anyway, so he planted a church. He came out of whatever, what do you call it, theology school or whatever he did. And he went to his first church and he said there was 3 people at the first service and 2 of them was him and his wife. So there was 1 person in the service. And in a year's time, they had 100 people, and then 2 more years, they were 300 people. So the church grew quite quickly, and it was a small town, so I think the whole town was in the church. But anyways, and he said he left to his second church, and after a while, the church he was at first fell to 100 again. And he just realized, oh, he did something wrong, because what he was building or what he was doing didn't last. It was more centered about and on him than it was on what God was doing through a team. And he learned quite a bit through that, and how to operate in teams. And he started studying and really going into more of that. Interesting about him is that he does a lot of speaking to motivational to businesses. He's like quite into the business world. And he says that God said to him, this is what you're called to. But he doesn't quote scriptures and those kind of things. He says, but then people will ask him, listen, your teaching is so different than all the other stuff we've heard. Where do you get these things? And he's like, no, you don't want to know. And then like, no, we really do want to know. He's like, trust me, you do not want to know, you're going to be disappointed. And so in the end, they'll say, please tell us, we want to know. And he'll say, I get everything from the Bible. Like all the principles I get from the Bible. And then they're like, oh, that's not the answer they wanted. And then he said, like, even these big meetings, when he teaches about this, he'll tell them, listen here, tonight when you're there in the club or the bar or whatever, I'll be in that seat there. If you want to know more about Jesus, I'll be there. He says, and the people just come, And it's just so cool for me to see how, I don't know why I'm talking about this now, but whatever business, whatever thing we are in, that God ministers through it as we use the biblical principles. God uses it to shine. Anyway, so what does it mean to be a team player? And I'll say it just like that. The best players put the team first. Okay, so how do we summarize that? Selflessness. Okay, if you want to be a good team player, it's selflessness. You have to be selfless. You put the team above your own needs. And I think it's easy to see that or to think that, but to do that is a whole different story. When you think of different teams, you think of, a netball team. That's my thing. If I want to be the star of the game, it's all about me. I'm not a team player. Okay, but if I want the best for the team, I'm serving the team so that they can do their best, so that we all can do our best. Okay, no team succeeds unless its players puts others on the team ahead of themselves. Okay, so the moment we want to stand out, we're not in the team anymore. But when we want the best for the team, that is a good team player. So I'm going to share these 3 points that he actually shared. How do I develop an attitude of selflessness? Okay, because that's important then for a team. If you want to be a good team player, you have to develop an attitude of selflessness. And I can just say this takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I had to learn this in some ways very hard. So the first one is be generous. Okay, so this doesn't just mean with money or things like this. This is a heart of selflessness. Be generous in serving others. Be generous in serving the team. Okay, in other words, when you are generous, you don't just stick to the basics. You don't just stick to what you should do. You are generous in doing more. Now, just quickly think about Rebecca in the Bible, hey? That lady was generous. And she didn't even know what she was doing when she went to fetch all the water for those camels, hey? Because what is the guy, the slave or whatever, the servant, asked her for a sip of water. And she's like, no, let me go and give all your camels water as well. So that is a picture of generous. Okay, and if you want to be in a team, a good team player, listen, we're talking about good team players, yeah? Like you're generous in the team. Like you go beyond. You feed the camels or whatever, drink the camels. What do you say? Yeah, thank you. So what happens then if you're a good team player and that person is a good team player and we seek the best for the team and we're serving generously, it unites. It brings something special. And I hope and pray this more over the rugby team, you know. But it's just like you can see like you want to serve the team. And when the other team were playing, the B team, B side of us sort of, you know, they were sort of, everyone still trying to do their own thing. And you could see there wasn't that much unity. But when you're generous in your serving and selflessness, it unites the team and it advances the team. And isn't that exciting? So, yeah, first point. Second point, avoid internal politics, okay? We live in a world of politics. I've been in many teams and there's always politics. And why is there politics? Because someone wants some other position. Okay, because someone wants to stand out or someone wants what that one's doing, they want to do it. And so they will try and do whatever to push that one down and to push themselves up. Okay, so if you want to be a good team player, avoid those kind of politics of wanting to exalt yourself and wanting to push others down. So you see this quickly. Let me see. No, it's not yet there yet, sorry. I did this teaching on Friday, so I have to keep to my notes. Good team players worry about the benefit of their team players more than themselves. Okay, so this, guys, is biblical. Like God says, honor, outdo. What does it say? Outdo in showing honor to other people. Like this is a good team player. It's like you want other people to benefit more than you. And I love this about Lukanya. He's not even playing now. But he could have scored a try in the World Cup and he passed it over to Mapimpi. Like he wants the best for that guy. You know, that's a good team player. It's not like I'm going to score the try or whatever. Okay. Then the third one is display loyalty. Okay, loyalty is a big word and I don't think we can always fully understand it. But in a team, if there's loyalty, the team works. And that makes you a good team player. Like you're loyal to the team. You're not going to talk behind the team. You're not going to share the strategies of the team with the other team. You are loyal to what's happening here. You're building in what's happening there. Okay, so that's the 3 points of how do I develop an attitude of selflessness, be generous, avoid internal politics, and then display loyalty. Then to become more selfless, to give practical points for that, because it's easy to say these things, but how do I actually practically do this? How do I become more selfless in a team environment? Thank you. First one, promote someone other than yourself. Now, if you've been very good at promoting yourself, this is very difficult. So they say someone is not a good team player if they're all the time promoting themselves. Okay, so how would this look like? If you're talking about something, that person's always talking about how good they are or what they did or how they contributed or something. So you can quickly hear, in a conversation that someone still needs to grow in a team effort if they want to firstly speak about how good they are. Okay, so how can you promote someone else? Stop talking about yourself. That's a good one for us these days because we all post pictures of how I did this and look how amazing I am. Promoting yourself and your achievements, so stop doing that. Try it for 2 weeks. So if you're very good at promoting yourself, stop doing that at least for 2 weeks. Instead, then start to promote others. Okay? Now, if you struggle with this, you're going to quickly realize you struggle with this. Okay? If you say Marguerite is now leading the orchestra and I'm one of the players, I say to her, wow, you know what? Melanie sitting next to me are playing so well. She's doing incredibly well. She's going next level. I am promoting Melanie. I'm not promoting myself. So I'm actually promoting others in my team. So now I'm a team player because now it's not just about myself. I'm learning to be more selfless. Okay, so try that for 2 weeks. Josh, come and tell me how amazing Panasha is, or whatever. So that is something where we are we learning to let go of ourselves. Okay, find positive things and say about people's actions and qualities. Number 2, take a subordinate role. Okay, so basically what that means is just that you do not always want to be the top guy. Okay, you not always want to be on, the best or whatever. You actually want to serve. Okay, so we naturally want the best, but how about serving others? Okay, and this is the thing where I learned that you can actually serve in a team, but your heart is not there at all. You're just doing it because you know someone said you should do it. So in this point, I agree, start serving, but then also see to yourself, why am I doing this? For me, God, one here gave me the word. He said, it's more blessed to give than to receive. So I had to, that means you serve, okay? And in a church environment, I was doing the sound, which I did more praying than sound because I didn't really know what was going on there. But I had to be there in the morning first, and we had 2 services, and I had to leave in the evenings last because you lock up, you put the whatever off. So many times I'll find myself in the church, the last one there, and I've been there all day. And I was like, yes, it's more blessed to give to receive, but when you do it and we're only 2 sound people, so you were every second Sunday you were on duty. So here by the 3rd month, you're like, okay, Lord, really, this is unfair. It's like, why am I here? And I got, once no one helping me, and all those kind of things. And then I had to check my heart, what am I doing? And is it really more blessed to receive? And why am I doing this? The other thing is that we can serve just for people to see us. Okay, so sometimes there's someone that's the boss, and so you'll serve very nicely for that person, but that doesn't mean you're serving the team. Okay, so the second point, take a subordinate role and see if you do it for 2 weeks and see how it affects your attitude. Now, this guy says only for 2 weeks. It took me 3 months to see my attitude, so maybe a bit longer. But see if you just start to serve others and want the best for them, how it affects you. Okay, then the third point to become more selfless is give secretly. Okay, so in a team, it's very easy, especially if you have the gift of giving, to give gifts. But to do it secretly without someone knowing, that shows you where your heart is at. Okay, and there can be very creative ways in doing that. In serving your team and giving to them without them even knowing it. Okay, without them even realizing it sometimes. Like, say for a team thing, like for me when I was working as a physio, my team didn't know that I was there every morning early, doing the water, filling all the ultrasound things, like all those basic things that they never even realized someone was doing that, but I was giving secretly until I left, or I went on holiday. Then they're like, why is this thing's not filled? Or, those kind of things. But you want the best for the team, and you want to give to them in a way that they don't even realize you're giving it to them. Because it's very rewarding giving, like, oh, well, you're doing so well, But when it gets to a place where you're serving and giving, but people don't even know you're doing it, that's a very precious place. And when I look at Jesus, this is what he did. With his team, with his disciples, he wasn't the one who wanted the top spot. He wasn't the one who wanted all the attention. He wasn't the one who wanted to be mentioned all the time. He actually said, no, don't do that. And he came and he served. And I think it's so beautiful. Like, I want to be a team player like Jesus. And I just absolutely love that. I once heard this, or actually we talked about it when we studied Philippians, about the team thing, is that it's almost like Jesus came. Say you're going to play rugby. He came and he played with the preschool guys, But he played so nicely with them that he wanted the best for them next to him. He can win the whole team or whatever, but he so equipped the guys next to him and wanted the best for him. He served them so well. It's not like he's now less Jesus. No, he didn't become a small Jesus. He was still Jesus, but he played with the team next to him in such a beautiful way. And of course, if we read the Bible, John, if we are one, we portray what? The love of Christ. And so I think that's so beautiful in team. If we work together and want the best for each other, we love each other, and we serve each other, we outdo each other in giving honor and those kind of things, what does it do? It doesn't just benefit us. It benefits people out there. They see it. They see the love of Christ. They see something special. So I think or maybe just share one more thing. Just remember that there's no one who actually did something on their own significantly. There's no one. Okay, don't look at Jesus. There's nothing he can't do. But about humans. There's always a team. Doesn't matter how you look at it. Doesn't matter who it is. There's always someone behind the scenes. There's almost... this is my last story, I promise. So, and it's a rugby story. So Derek and I watched the documentary on the Springboks that won the previous World Cup. And they focused on the logistics team. Hey? And I can't remember this guy's name. But I actually totally forgot that there's something like a logistics team. And so what they do, they make sure you're at the right place, you stay at the right place, you get the right food, here's your bags, your clothing, all those kind of things, which is very important. But that day when they played the final in Japan, wherever, that logistics manager went to sit and he looked at the road from the hotel to the stadium. He worked out a few times how long is it going to take them to get there with the traffic. And it was something like an hour and a half, or I can't remember. But it was quite something. So he had to take the worst possible scenario and get the team there on time. Like he did extra effort in serving the team to get them at the stadium on time. He says, and they were there well in time. And so he took Siya Kolisi to go and do the coin toss, and England wasn't there yet. And so 10 minutes later, they went again, and England wasn't there yet. And he's like, listen here, if they're not here, we're going to win this toss. And so England arrived, and they were very rushed because they wasn't on time, because they didn't think about the traffic and the things happening. And so before the game started, they were already on the back foot. And it's just so beautiful. We look at the team and this player who scored, but there's someone who went the extra mile to just think, how is this going to work? And he was serving the whole team, and actually, if you think about it, the country, and that's just what is a good example for me. What does it mean to be a team player? Okay.